always, for being with us on the Farm Bureau guest line right now. Check out favorites.com. Go with the home team at Mississippi Farm Bureau is our friend Luke Johnson. Luke joins us. He is co-host of the SuperTalk Eagle Hour, where they talk Southern Miss athletics each and every day on SuperTalk Laurel and SuperTalk Hattiesburg. Good afternoon, my friend.
Beautiful day here in South Mississippi. Should be on a golf course somewhere, but not in the cards today.
Yeah, I get it. A little cooler than it has been in North Mississippi. I don't know if you guys are dealing with the same thing. It wasn't so bad, and then the wind picked up, and I was like, whoa, where's that coming from? I'd gotten used to the warm temperatures for the last few days. So, baseball last night. We were talking in the last segment about it was just kind of a stinky day all the way around. Mississippi State lost to Central Arkansas. Ole Miss lost to Memphis, and Southern Miss lost to Southeastern Louisiana in Hammond last night. Golden Eagles tied the game in the top of the ninth inning, got a run, or the run that they needed, only to give up a walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth inning. That's a tough loss last night.
It really was. They started out well. We talked to Travis Krill today, of course, the hitting coach for the Golden Eagles, and really pressed being aggressive. And the Golden Eagles came out the gate. Slade Wilkes hit a home run in the first, and then they plated three more in the top of the second, 4-0, going into the bottom of the second. The Lions got a home run, but it's still 4-1. And then the bottom of the fourth struck with there was an error in left field. Really didn't come back to bite them. They gave up a run, but that run was going to score anyway based off what happened in the rest of the inning. But you just get a yucky pitching performance in the bottom of the fourth. A walk, a hit by pitch, a walk. So you walk two runs in, and then you give up a single to center field that plates two more, and you look up, you were up 4-1, and when the fourth inning's complete, you're down 6-4. Butler hit a shot, Oppo shot to bring it 6-5, and then you fight back and tie the game, and then Colby Allen kind of missed the spot and gave up a walk-off. So it's one of those games that, you look back and you should have easily won. You left 9 runners on base, and you would have played it a whole lot more.
How concerned are you with fielding on this team?
It's been a concern. The two last night, the first was the ball got hit off Boswell's leg, and he kind of slipped off the pitcher's leg, and that was that didn't bite him. The Butler misplayed a ball in left field that ended up the runner got to second base. That's one I mentioned before. They would have scored anyway. But you look over the weekend, there are some games where they've got 2 or 3 errors, and they lose because of that. The game that they lost to Troy over the weekend, it was errors and unable to take advantage of some more scoring opportunities. So there have been some of those that have just been head scratchers, like that can't happen, and then a few of them have been unlucky breaks.
What's the overall feeling among Southern Miss fans about this team? They're sitting at 18-11 right now, only 2 games out of first place in the Sun Belt. There's obviously a lot of baseball left. By and large, the weekends have been good. The midweeks have been hard, and that's not completely unexpected, right? I mean, Southern Miss plays a difficult schedule. They've got the good win against Alabama, a couple of tough losses in the midweek with the Ole Miss and the Mississippi State games, the win against Tulane last week. But pitching depth's always going to be a concern in terms of midweek, and Oz has talked to us about the fact that, they can't throw weekend arms in midweek games for any extended amount, right? I mean, the weekends are too important. So I guess that was a lot of words to say. What is the sentiment right now for Southern Miss fans looking at this team, what they believe they're capable of?
It's kind of mixed because if you look at last night, Boswell got the start. He's been starting all the midweek games. They didn't throw McCarty English late. He was kind of the only weekend arm besides Sibley they didn't throw last night. J.B. Middleton had a great night. He threw 2 innings, didn't give up a hit, didn't give up a run, struck out 5 of the 6 outs were strikeouts. It was the guys that you were trying to get work in. And again, the 2 arms that you throw that give up the runs in the middle has been Riley Flowers and Armistead. And both of those guys are not they're not probably the first mid relief options that you go to. Landon Payne threw for the first time in quite some time and didn't give up anything last night. So, yeah, I think once you get past, I do think they have more, quote, familiar faces after the starters. So rather than one guy last year, you go straight to Justin Sorm. Now you've got Middleton, English, Payne coming back, Sibley. So you've got those guys. And so I do think that he has a little more options. At the same time, it gets really, really thin after that. The hope is, though, I went back and looked. Southern Miss, after 29 games last year, guess what they were? They were 18-11.
Well, that's good news. Similar position to where they were, exact same position as where they were a year ago. What about offensively? When you look at this lineup up and down the order, they're hitting 264 as a team, 29 home runs. That number's probably a little lower than people would like to see. Who do you see that is, based on what they've done in the past, is capable of more offensively than is there right now?
Average-wise, I mean, Pato and Wilkes are higher than what they usually are. I mean, the obvious answer is Monastery. I mean, he's batting 250, but it's actually been coming up a little bit. He had just had a really, really slow to start the season. I would say Pato and Wilkes, as far as average and on base, are much higher than what they are. Pato's been really, really good approach at the plate. You cannot the MVP of this first half of the season is McIntyre, the leadoff. I mean, he is a true leadoff dude. We were joking we should have an over-under for how many infield singles he gets in a series on the weekend, just because he will use the opposite side of the field. He hit a double oppo last night. He will hit a ball deep in the hole between the five and six, and will just beat it out. I mean, that usually happens once or twice a series. I think Butler. I think the 3 through 6 part of this lineup is better than the 3 through 6 part last year, and they're going to put 5 quality left-handed bats in the lineup every single day. So we thought that maybe you could score 5 per game and be okay with this pitching staff, and I think they're probably going to have to up that number some. But I think that that's a lineup that's truly capable of it. Davis Gillespie in the 6 hole, as he gets more and more experience, pretty dangerous.
Dalton McIntyre, you were talking about a second ago, in 101 at-bats, he's got 39 hits, most of them singles, but he's got 5 doubles, a triple, a home run. He's driven in 18 runs. He's got an OPS that's over 900 now. He's walked 9 times, been hit by a pitch. He really is doing a good job finding his way on base at the top of the order.
Those 2 numbers are really wild. Notice he's only walked 9 times, and yet among the starters – if you look at, I think Russo's a little higher, but he doesn't have the at-bats. McIntyre is basically leading the team other than Butler in on-base percentage, and he's only walked 9 times. That is an extraordinary contrast of stats for me. That just shows you how much he's putting the ball into play, and that's why he's flirting with 400 right now as a batting average.
Yeah, and his on-base is only like a thousandth of a point behind Billy Butler at this point as well. He's 438 versus 439. So this weekend, got to go to Mobile. That has traditionally been a competitive series. It was a midweek series for a long time. Now it's a conference series, and I'm assuming this is a somewhat desperate South Alabama team who is sitting at 3-6 in the league at this point.
They've been kind of rolling the dice out there. Which team are you going to be? This is a team that beat Troy. At Troy, took 2 out of 3. Of course, they beat Mississippi State earlier in the season. Lost 2 of 3 at Old Dominion. And then they got run ruled last night in 7 down in New Orleans to UNO. So it's a team you just wonder, which team's going to show up. The key for me is Southern Miss, 14 of their 18 wins are inside Pete Taylor Park. And neutral and away, they're 4-7. So we asked Creel about that today, and, he said that's one thing they've been addressing is you're going to have to win on the road. You're going to have to try to steal a series on the road. And so I think that's what they want to, that 2 or 3 series looks really good towards the end of the year. But, man, if you can do it on the road, especially in conference, it makes you feel better.
It's a huge deal. So South Alabama this weekend for Southern Miss. And then it's back-to-back road weekends. Got to go to Georgia State after that. So to your point about winning on the road, now's the time to figure it out.
They got to. Southeastern comes back for a midweek home game next week. But, yeah, I mean, and Georgia State right now second in the league, and I'm interested to dive more into them next week to see what their resurgence looks like. But Mobile's always tough. South Alabama could play Southern Miss in like chess and probably be favored in it. That's just kind of the way this thing's been. So Golden Eagles, it would be good to get a statement series win this weekend.
Luke,